time for Moto Hop on Air.
Welcome to episode 18.
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
I didn't even look to see what number it was.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, it is February 14th. We are recording this right on time at 9:52 p.m.
Earlier than usual.
Yeah, by a few minutes.
I am eternally grateful.
Yeah. Well, we're back on the Wednesday recording schedule.
I don't know if I call it a schedule because it's a one-off. Let's not promise anything.
I'm trying to. I made promises last episode and then life happened.
One of my mottos is at the gym, at least, is like, slow down, just don't stop. It's okay if you slow down, just don't stop.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah.
So we're back.
We're back.
Monthly. We're here for your monthly podcast.
Yeah. No, I was telling you earlier. We'll see. I'm considering a change of format, almost maybe 2 podcasts, kind of a shorter weekly touch on the news version, and then, I don't know, maybe a bi-weekly longer version with both of us or something. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we'll see what happens. If we can keep doing this, great. We managed to do it for like 16 episodes.
Well, the holidays
chaos.
Derailed us.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably aligned with everyone. I feel like New Year's resolutions are just the dumbest thing ever because your life is so messed up after the holidays. Like, let's still start February or March resolutions. So we feel like our feet are back on the ground, our soul has rejoined our body, and we actually have the energy to eat healthy, and we're bored because it's cold out. So, like, go exercise.
Yeah. Well, speaking of resolutions, I am on track. I did get out in January.
Yeah.
It was a very brisk ride on the scooter.
The other day it was almost 60 degrees, and I mentioned to you the warmth, but like didn't explicitly say you should go riding.
I know. It's been a lot lately.
So what about what are the rules and regulations of this resolution? If you ride the compacto down the sidewalk, does that still count?
I mean, if I don't do anything better, I guess I'll count it. But I said I was not setting any specific bar other than ride once a month.
Oh, bicycle?
No, motorcycle.
Horses? Oh.
I mean, I guess Moto Compacto kind of falls in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the corner market opens up soon. You can ride down and get me some fry pies.
There we go.
Every day.
Yeah. So, yeah, resolution is on track.
You have anything in your cup?
Oh, I do.
What's in your cup?
I have, I guess to some people, depends on if you're into blended bourbons or not, but I've blended a blended bourbon with some Freedom whiskey and some vanilla Coke. So nothing super fancy.
So you have a real cocktail vibe over there of just mixing random stuff.
Yeah. I mean, not random stuff. It's the 4-year Western Reserve blend with Freedom whiskey and then some vanilla Coke.
And it looks like a bowling ball, the bottle in which it comes in. And
the Western Reserve. I talked about it one episode.
The real exciting part of the drink is the vanilla Coke that we found in Rite Aid, out of all places.
Yep. Apparently it's back in cans.
I really don't like soda, but I can get behind root beer, the occasional grape soda, and a vanilla Coke.
Yep.
About once every 4 months, I'll drink a soda. Pop.
Well, this turned out good. The reason I didn't do the straight Western Reserve blend in vanilla Coke is it's...
Ran out.
No.
Well.
I didn't think the flavor profiles were going to mesh, which I think I was right, because I can detect a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But if I had went straight with the Western Reserve blend, I think it and the Coke would have clashed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good for you.
What do you have? Anything good?
I have a large bottle of water, of course.
Yeah. Well, I have a water here too.
Yeah, it always counts. And I have a standby glass of wine. And do you want to know why I have this glass of wine?
Why?
Because I had 4 shots of espresso a few hours ago, and I'm trying to make sure I go to sleep.
Okay, well, please don't fall asleep before we're done with the podcast.
No, I'm doing all right. I think I'm actually going to wait about a half hour to start drinking it so that way I can stay awake.
Okay.
And then I'm chugging it because I need to go to bed.
Okay. Well, we didn't go to AIMExpo.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it's always next year.
Life is crazy. And I would love to go to Vegas in February, though. I feel like the timing is really good. Maybe that's what I'll get you for Christmas. Does that count? Can I get you a plane ticket and like be totally done with
Both of
Christmas in
us? Or
February?
are you just shipping me by myself to Vegas in February?
TBD. We haven't made a full year married yet, so I guess there's still.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah,
It's just
because
weird.
the 10 years or, almost 11 years previous to actually getting married count for nothing.
There was a lot less pressure.
Oh.
It was way more fun. And
Oh, really? I'm glad I'm hearing
I'm just stressed.
this.
No, don't worry. I've always been stressed. We're fine.
Yeah.
No, but if that's like an easy way, then like I'd love to double dip on some of these gifts.
I think it's funny how you're all about double dipping, and as someone who deals with multiple people in my life having December birthdays, it's like one thing that's been impressed into me from a young age is to never double dip gifts.
So my family doesn't do birthdays, so I never got gifts from my family at all.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get a gift from my grandma because she felt sorry for me, but she didn't gift anyone else anything.
For the birthdays?
Yeah. Like, we didn't celebrate birthdays. Yeah. So, I mean, you got a cake, but we didn't do gifts. So, the fact that I got a gift for my birthday is probably why my siblings still don't like me.
Maybe.
But the thing is like, I'm not as sensitive about double dipping as some. I just don't like my birthday, honestly. Yeah. If we were like, you know what, we're not even going to celebrate your birthday. We're just going to postpone it for 6 months. And I promise it'll be as good as it would have been if we actually celebrated on time. I'd be all for it. But the problem is you're like, this is my only chance to like celebrate myself and have a reason to be as annoying as people are on their birthdays. Mm. And like, it just sucks. It just sucks. I was sick. It was holidays. It was everything.
Yeah.
But if you bought me a plane ticket to Vegas, I think it'd be okay.
Okay.
I'll buy you one and you buy me one for Christmas.
Yeah, I think we need to start planning earlier to make it work. Because we did a lot of considering, but I think we had enough other stuff going on and differences this year that I'm glad we didn't force it.
Yeah, like I'm in a new job. I don't have a ton of PTO, and I actually have a work trip coming up. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I'm at peace with it. You know, of course I'd still like to go to Vegas, but we can do that anytime. It really isn't that expensive.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, I'd like to get to AIMExpo at some point.
Yeah, and it won't be that expensive.
Well, and it may be in Columbus next year. They alternate between Columbus, Ohio, and Vegas.
Really? Then why did we wait until the Vegas year to consider it? I guess we weren't media before.
Yeah, we just started the podcast.
I didn't know there was criteria before, so I was...
you have to be industry member. So I guess the other option is I finally start that dealership I've talked about.
Okay.
Okay.
You can probably find some foreclosed property somewhere. The housing market's poop.
Yeah. Well, I guess on to recalls. We'll run through these real quick. The Cake Calk, K-A-L-K.
Not to be confused with a cake walk.
Yeah, or it's just a very awkwardly named e-bike thing, e-motorcycle.
Is it American?
No.
That sometimes constitutes for like the weird...
Swedish,
like, maybe we're saying it wrong.
Yeah, I think they're Swedish. We will come back to them later, and I believe it confirms where they're from. But their American arm is recalling a bunch of the Calk models due to battery safety issues. It looks like about 264 units are going to be affected from model year 2018 to 2023. They are having issues with batteries catching fire.
Yeah, like one actually like caught a flame. Like in a dealership in South Korea, it said.
Yeah.
It actually like created flame, not just like, oh, it smoked like that. Like that's pretty scary stuff, especially because it is small enough. Like honestly, if someone was in an urban apartment, like they could charge it in their house.
Well, that it could be in your garage or...
Well, I get that. But I think in like, at least the garage, there's a chance it's detached. Like if it's going to catch on fire, like please stay away.
But so if you are one of the few handful of people that have a Cake Calk in the U.S., you should double check your VIN with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration like usual. Links for all the recalls will be in the show notes. And the next one is we have two from Suzuki. 2024 Hayabusas the flare nut for one of the brake lines may not be tightened correctly. That causes a loss of brake fluid, and at some point, loss of braking.
Not good.
Nope. And then the brand new 2024 GSX 8Rs, both the 2024 Hayabusa and this also have a stop sale order in place due to it.
Sheesh.
But the GSX 8Rs have a chain issue. So the chains may not have been properly riveted.
So the bike would just stop.
Well, the chain could come loose.
Increase the risk of a crash, it says. Well,
Yeah, it could damage components if it separates its speed. You'd lose drive power. Yeah, not ideal. It could also wrap itself up in a way that would lock the wheel up. Just kind of depends on the chain fails. But these are both Suzuki models are 2024 model years. So production dates for both of them are kind of like end of last year for the most part. Again, as usual, link in show notes. Double check your VIN. And then another bit of news I wanted to touch on before we got into, I guess, happier stuff was the Dakar Rally did get completed. However, Spanish rider Carlos Falcon, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, which I hope I am, did end up passing away from the injuries he sustained in a crash during the rally. ADV Pulse has an article about it. Big bummer.
he was young.
Yeah. This was his second attempt at the rally. Yeah. Thoughts with them.
45 is very young.
Yep. Had a lot of life ahead of him. So there's certain risks whenever you compete in motorsports that you know are a possibility, but you always hope it's not you. Looking back at my time racing dirt track, I know there are things I probably should have done, and I'm just glad nothing worse happened to me. But whenever you see someone lose their life over it, while we may enjoy it, it still sucks.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say is it worth it, but obviously you go in it knowing the risks, and so...
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this. The one thing, because it always comes up every year for the Isle of Man TT, because there's typically a few deaths every year, because it's just such a high-speed race on street roads.
I do not like the idea of
But
that.
every single year, their death count is typically a fraction of what Sturgis Rally's death count is. And Sturgis isn't a race.
But you can't look at that, like the number. You have to look at the percentage, right?
I mean, okay, still probably a smaller percentage.
You think?
Why is Sturgis still going on when they are normally in the double-digit death counts per year?
Yeah, but there's like tens of thousands of people. There's not tens of thousands of people riding the Isle of Man.
Sure, but the people who die at Sturgis did not sign up for a motorsport event where they intended at riding at several hundred miles an hour through city streets.
They die from like dehydration and drugs.
Sturgis?
Yeah.
No, typically motorcycle accidents and not wearing helmets. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wear helmets, guys.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get off my soapbox there for a second. If you want to hear other people complain about deaths at Sturgis, tune into Motorcycles and Misfits. Liza normally does a great wrap up after every rally.
She's a good safety coach.
Yep. But she will bring up every year how many deaths there are, drug arrests, all that fun stuff. She does
if you want to meet
roundup.
her,
Yeah.
come to Vintage Days.
Yeah, I think she will be there this year again.
We're not going to promise on her behalf, but she normally flies in from California.
Yeah, I think they're coming this year. Okay, so on to news. The first thing is AIMExpo.
Here we go. Another story.
Yeah, they had a fire there. they had to evacuate temporarily.
I wonder if they had marshmallows. It seemed pretty minor. That's why I joke.
Yeah, it was pretty
like
minor.
Half an hour they said they were evacuated, which including time to air it out. So I'm thinking like it was probably smoke. Like it probably wasn't even.
Yeah, it was a battery and an e-bike.
I wonder if it was a cake cock.
Well, so no one has discussed what brand this is.
I didn't even. We should look on Instagram and see if there was pictures of smoke.
No one really has pictures that I could find other than everyone standing outside when the building was evacuated.
That'll probably happen so fast.
It happened next to the Motorcycle Power Sports News booth, which was very unfortunate for the people next to them, although to their benefit, MPN has not, like I said, in any of their articles, said what manufacturer's booth it was. They did note, however, that after the evacuation, the batteries seem to have been removed from all of the models on that dealer's booth.
I wonder how many of them flew in. Would that put them at risk, flying in these? But they wouldn't fly them in, right?
I mean, they could air freight them in, I imagine, but...
Would that mess with them?
No, not necessarily. I mean, lithium batteries are just... We take them for granted. They are kind of a fragile chemistry to some extent.
I mean, they come with warning labels on them in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the kind of side news of AIMExpo. Benelli announced their 2024 lineup for the U.S. At least so far. The BKX 300, which a few episodes ago we touched on because it was shown off at EICMA. It's nowhere on this list.
So it's not in the States yet? Is that what you mean?
Well, it's at least not planned on coming to the States yet under their new... They're not importing them to the U.S. through SSR anymore. They're doing it through Keyway. So the one weird thing is SSR was previously importing the Leoncino and Leoncino Trail, and those also are nowhere on this list. They did say they're bringing in the TNT 135, which is good. That bike kind of owns that category as long as you're okay not being on a Honda Grom. They're bringing the 302 S at least. I guess I didn't think about that. I guess they're not bringing the full fare 302, or at least it wasn't in most of the reporting. They're bringing a 400, the Imperial or Imperiale 400. Very kind of retro-y, I think Royal Enfield Bullets, Triumph Bonneville-ish kind of older styling. They're bringing the TRK 502 and the 502X back. The new additions so far are the TRK 702 and 702X. So if you liked what they were doing with the 502s and wanted more engine, you've got it. And then...
I thought Benelli's only made little baby bikes.
Nope, they've got some big ones. Ducati has shown off the Desmo 450 MX. Do you remember us talking about Ducati getting into dirt bikes?
Yes.
They had the
Everyone
really cool
got
video.
into dirt bikes last year.
yeah. They had the real cool video about their engine.
Yeah, with like the exploded parts.
Yeah. So we know what it looks like now. It's red and looks like a dirt bike.
Shocking.
Yeah. It does have. I've already forgot what their marketing.
There's a lot of decals on it. Does it come pre-sponsored?
Well, they're not showing the consumer version yet. This is the bike they're going racing with in March.
Oh, of course. Why would you want the consumers to be able to see what they could buy?
Well, I mean, it'll look similar-ish to this, but they're showing off their actual race bikes. What was the name of the engine? Something mono. How can I forget the name?
What are you looking for? The engine?
Yeah, they had a name for the
There's
engine.
A whole
it doesn't really
description
matter
about the engine.
The engine, though's got their Desmodronic valve train system. That's why it produces the power it does. So it'll be fun to watch them go racing, and we'll see how close the consumer version looks to these race versions. I'm guessing very, very similar.
Minus the cool sponsorship stickers.
They might charge you extra for those.
You can just buy stickers from us. We'll make you look sponsored.
Yeah.
You just have to pay for them.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
We can make some big stickers if we knew there was a
demand
for them.
Yeah.
We've got a vendor. Hit us up.
Yeah. We'll talk stickers more at the end too, because I forgot to bring that up at the beginning. No.
I'll add it.
So Cake, who we talked about at the beginning at the recall.
Oh, I'm going to want cake when we're done.
Do you remember their last recall we talked about by any chance?
Not at all.
They were the ones who the front end was separating from the bikes.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Do you remember that story? And we
Vaguely.
talked about how, like, it'd be a real bummer if it was you, but
Kind of funny.
it's kind of a funny way for a bike
general
to fail.
concept.
Yeah, the front end just separates right off the frame. So turns out they're filing, or not filing, they already filed for bankruptcy.
It has nothing to do with all of their really major recalls lately, I'm sure.
I'm sure not.
I mean, that's a good
yeah.
way to dent your reputation, is have like some really like multiple
Well,
like
you're
horrible,
already,
not even just like,
Yeah.
oh, like like this nut isn't tight. Like handlebars might fall off or it might catch on fire.
yeah, they're already kind of in a very like small market of like the type of e-bike / e-motorcycles they sell.
I wonder how many they sold.
Well,
Kind
the
of a
latest
cool-looking bike,
recall
though.
was for approximately 289 units in the U.S.
Yeah, not
across
a ton.
a 5 or 6 year span.
It has
So
to be a handful,
not a
but
ton.
not a lot.
Yeah.
The picture they have, I think I'm on the old recall. No, this is a file for bankruptcy thing. They're like in Africa, where it doesn't even look like they have electricity, and they have this bike.
Yeah, I think they've been riding these across the world or something.
Oh, wow.
I forget. Yeah. But yeah, so bummer.
A blip in time.
Yes, they were the ones that were doing it. They were sending teams doing these super long distance electric rides.
I wonder how they were charging them. If you're in like,
Depends on where they were at. They did a 3,333 mile adventure across the U.S. They did a Trans-Africa ride. But we'll see if they can pull themselves out of this nosedive it seems they're in.
you can do it. Or not. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. With all the e-bikes there are right now, is it like, you'd really have to be like, is it worth saving?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't put it in here. We'll touch on it real quick. Couple places reported, if you remember Land Moto or Land Energy out of Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
they had announced that they were going into phase 2 of production. So the bikes got a little cheaper and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was because I think part of it, the reporting was they just got a new round of funding and they had closed a round of funding last year. So
they're still startup.
they have a bunch of investment. So there are people in the space, maybe outside of ones in bankruptcy, to look at. Maybe more American manufacturers.
And if
Who
you can
knows?
hear our dogs, no, you can't.
Yeah.
They are absolutely livid right now. They may or may not have seen the neighbor's cat on our back porch.
Good. Beeline, they make these really nifty little GPS
We've
units.
talked about them before.
Yeah, I've looked at them a few times. They're coming out with their Moto II, so an update to their current Moto version of their Beeline. So their kind of shtick is,
Shtick.
yeah, on a bike, you typically don't want to take the shortest way, right? And sometimes...
Well, you really can't. I mean, unless you're flying.
What?
I was just thinking like the absolute shortest. I was thinking like as the crow flies. I'm like, you can't. You have to take roads.
Sure.
But no, I know what you mean now.
Yeah, a
like,
typical GPS is going to take you the quickest and or shortest direction.
They're out
right?
of London. Did you know that?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They also know that sometimes you're going and you just want to see where a road goes. So the previous one and this one as well, from what I've been able to tell so far, has a mode where you put your destination and it just gives you an arrow that points towards your final destination. And you can make your turning decisions as needed, which is kind of a cool concept.
So they're on Kickstarter, which I thought they were like announced that it's going to come out, but this must be a really small company. They're still
They are.
kickstarting this. Estimated delivery is May. And I was converting the British pounds to USD. Very basic level is 179 pounds, or about $225.
I had no idea that this was still on Kickstarter for the Moto II.
Yeah, I went on their website because I wanted to
I know the original Moto, I believe, was kickstarted.
Well, apparently they still...
Yeah.
But it's funded, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's funded.
It's
a lot of
not
smaller
like-
companies do this just for publicity. They're 225,000 into a goal of only 63,000 with 29 days left to go. So they hit their goal very, very, very early on.
Hopefully that means... I mean, I don't know that it will. In fact, it may delay delivery based on how many people pre-order. But hopefully that means that, it's going to show up on time. That would be perfect. May, right before riding season.
Yeah. Well, typically with Kickstarter, they do multiple different tier levels, and that'll be tied to when you get your order. Right? So the earlier you order...
These are all May.
Yeah. So
I
it
don't
just
know.
depends. But they're
Kickstarter's
already...
a little sketch. Have you ever funded anything?
Yep. Bunch of stuff.
Did you get what you thought you were going to get?
Yep.
Every time?
Yep.
To its max capacity, I promise? Because I've heard of people getting things, and then obviously by the time they get them, like, things were cut, or...
Sure, but this is a well-established company.
That's true. I'm just...
Yeah,
throwing
if
it
this
out
was
there.
a brand new upstart who had no idea what they're doing, and if you are sketched out by it, just wait. In May, they'll sell it to you, typically at a higher price.
Yeah, because it says rewards aren't guaranteed, so that kind of gives me the, like...
Kickstarter has to say that, because that's...
Well, they don't... They're just the vendor to, like...
Yeah.
Facilitate. They're
Yeah.
not actually checking it.
Oh, it is interesting. They have one of their tiers. Let's see if any are gone yet.
There is still...
None of these are gone yet. If you have $1,250 burning a hole in your pocket,
What?
you can get the VIP pack.
How many?
You get the Moto II Bundle Metal Edition and a private tour of the Triumph Factory.
Which is in the UK?
Yes.
Oh, in... Sure.
You go for it. I skipped over it because I wasn't going to try it. No.
It's like Worcestershire's brother.
Leicestershire?
Worcestershire.
Yeah. Leicestershire? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so you get the Moto II Metal Edition, new mount or adapter, a carrying case, a free cap and key ring, and then the Triumph Factory Tour. Said you just need a little over $1,000. If you're not into
Or
that...
There's a lot of other less expensive options as well. Because that
For
is...
about $225, you can get yourself one still.
That's the base model. And then for an additional, I don't know what it actually... 20 pounds, which is probably about $25.
Is it not giving you the U.S. conversion?
No, mine's
mine
like...
is.
The problem is
So
I work for
220
Canadian companies, so I think everything is like okay with me seeing like... I know Canadian is obviously not British. I feel like everything I see is like toss up on whether it's like British now because I have to like cross-reference everything for work.
Mine shows me the U.S. dollar right below the British pounds.
What?
Yeah. The base
is
one
good,
right now
though.
is 226. Actually, sorry, not 225.
Oh.
The metal version is 251 USD.
250
Yep. So about $25 to go from the standard
to the metal.
to the metal.
And there's a decent amount left. They had like 10,000 they were allowing, and there's about 600 left. So I guess that's not a lot, like in the grand scheme of things. There's a chunk left.
Yeah.
Ships only to certain countries, but we're not going to tell you which ones. Oh, the VIP pack is only available in the UK.
Is it?
Yep, it says that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not in the UK, they'll probably let you buy it. They're just not going to pay for you to fly over.
No one's bought any of those yet. 10 out of 10 are left.
Yeah, you've got to be real.
You have to literally donate like $750, $800 just to see the factory.
No, it's about $1,000 to go on the factory tour.
Oh, like they normally charge for
Well,
that?
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying the difference is.
Yeah.
It's $250, whatever. What did I just say? I forgot.
$250 was the metal
$251 for
one.
the metal one. And this is $1,260. I feel like this changed. It just said $1,250, but $1,260 for the VIP pack.
People get the gist. Just don't
So
hold us to it.
a little over $1,000 to go on the tour. If you're a real big Triumph fan, maybe it's worth it to you.
Oh, I thought this was 10,000. It's only 1,000. I don't get commas in mine.
Oh, boy.
You gonna get one?
Probably. I've looked at the first one so long. Latest, greatest.
We've talked about it multiple times.
Yeah, I'll probably finally pull the trigger on one. Or a GPS of some sort this year. It's just nice not having my phone tied up.
Yeah, battery, sunlight when it's hot out. Like, it's just a lot of obligation.
Yeah. The EU is going to start mandating motorcycles have cybersecurity features.
Whoa.
So basically, they're manufacturers who want to put any kind of feature that exposes the bike to be compromised. So whether that is phone connection or 4G, 5G connectivity to it, they're going to mandate a certain level of security to that, which honestly is good. We'll see. It was really funny. This article was kind of written in a way that had some pushback of like, government, getting involved and like controlling how our stuff is made. It's like, yeah, but if you're going to let companies put telecommunication tie-ins to your bike, which more and more motorcycles are using a CAN bus system. Not to go super deep, but CAN bus is not real secure. If you can get into the bike, for years, manufacturers have just assumed that there doesn't need to be a high level of security in the communication protocol across the CAN bus, because what's going to happen when the engine control module is talking to the transmission control module across the CAN bus? Like, no one's going to be here, right? Mm-hmm. Well, until your infotainment system is connected to that CAN bus and someone can gain access to the infotainment system, just like, I forget who owned it at the time. I think Fiat, Chrysler, whenever they had the issues exposed on I believe it was the Jeep Grand Cherokee, they were able to, a research team was able to demonstrate a proof of concept where they were able to remotely take control of the Grand Cherokee, disable the throttle, and activate the brakes.
What year was that?
I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. So
not that long ago. Plus, I don't know. Yeah. I guess I don't know enough about the technology of where Jeep is at.
I mean, they were just the unfortunate ones who like were the first ones discovered. CAN bus is used widely across the automotive. With all their problems. Yeah, I mean, but CAN bus is used widely across the automotive world. A few years ago at CodeMash, there were a couple talks about CAN bus and like how to make your own device communicate on the CAN bus and like sniffing CAN bus traffic, because so much of it is just kind of wide open.
So how do you spell CAN bus?
CANBUS.
CAN bus.
Sorry, apparently I was not enunciating enough.
See, I had no idea what that even was. A controller area network, CAN, is a vehicle bus standard designed to allow microcontrollers and devices to communicate with each other, like Bluetooth.
Think more like, I mean, I don't know. I guess if that makes sense to you. Except it's not wireless. This is all wired. So think more like TCP/IP across like Ethernet.
Okay.
This is what lets all the modules in your car communicate to each other.
Released in 1991. So about the internet-ish.
Yeah, I mean, but vehicles weren't really internet connected to the point they are now, right? So like the biggest, the manufacturers are going to have the biggest issues that need to actually address the security of their bike right now, for the most part, are the e-motorcycle manufacturers, because so many of them want to be like Tesla and have over-the-air software updates.
Like our vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, like
Tinco.
Yeah. Not really just a vacuum cleaner, but yeah. And it's like, okay, so if someone grabs a hold of the domain or IP you use to issue the over-the-air updates and pushed a fake update with their own code to be executed on the bike, and your only safeguard is the fact that you control the IP or domain that the bikes are looking for, that's not enough security.
It's kind of crazy, like, and you have to think about, okay, so you're pretty techie. Mm-hmm. How many people in the world don't realize how much of our life is controlled by internet enhanced software? Like, how few things as time goes on are less things are not being connected to the internet.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy because, like, especially even like our TVs now.
Yep.
You know, there's so many things that are just obviously being mainstreamed by that fast moving technology. But it's like, I bet you could buy a toaster that, like I said, our vacuum cleaner, like I didn't think anything of it.
You can buy internet connected toasters.
I'm sure you can. And like, I'm sure there's not microwaves. Toaster. No, that's not what I'm looking for either.
You haven't even started drinking the wine yet.
I know. It's a long week. Coffee makers.
Yeah.
Like just simple everyday household appliances that if like that infrastructure goes down.
Yeah.
Like woof.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a bummer if your coffee maker relied on like a weekly call home for software updates, and the company that made it like went out of business and your coffee maker just stopped working?
Ugh, tears.
That'd suck.
We've gone long periods too without electricity at our house. I mean, we're not off the grid by any means. We're just on a dead end road.
Yeah.
And when the windstorms in the spring go through,
yeah,
you know, we have a bunch of trees. It's just complete happenstance that it's like, we got to have 2 or 3 backup ways to make coffee already.
Yeah, I think people that are on the more techie side of stuff are already starting to realize some of these things. Like having devices that are heavily dependent on a company for its operation really aren't ideal. And I think we're a few years from the general public really recognizing that the same way. I'm trying to think of a good example I've run into recently, but there's a decent amount of kind of dead tech of just stuff that, you know, was made, but the company isn't there to support it in any way, shape, or form anymore. WebOS was one, except WebOS luckily was saved. But if that company had died, or BlackBerry, if BlackBerry servers were shut down, the BlackBerry devices were no longer functional, right? If Apple goes out of business tomorrow, iMessage doesn't work.
How do we talk to our people?
Right.
We're done.
Luckily the phones will revert to SMS at some point, but
yeah,
I think
we do have phone jacks in our house still.
Yeah.
We have a phone over there. A rotary dial. God, tomorrow.
Don't tempt me. I've thought about it a bunch.
We could probably save money on our internet if we bundled it with a home phone.
Well, yeah, but that wouldn't be a regular phone service. They want you to do VoIP, voice over internet protocol, right? Yeah, that doesn't help you at all.
No.
You need old school copper. I'm a really
bad prepper.
Yeah.
I am unprepped.
Yeah. But forcing manufacturers, because there's no profit in being secure. There's only loss of profit after something bad happens, and that is not enough motivation for shareholder-driven companies. So there has to be some level of regulation in place to force these companies to meet certain security standards, but they're going to have to follow it up with actually validating that these companies are upholding whatever regulations are put in place. I don't think the average person understands, because I knew, but I didn't fully grasp until this week. Not to turn this into a tech podcast.
It's okay. I think there's a lot of people out there that probably could benefit from your bridging the gap. I know I regularly rely on your bridge. Yeah,
I set up a honeypot on our home network this week.
Still makes me giggle because no one knows what that means.
Yeah, for those that don't know,
it's not a porta potty.
No, a honeypot is basically a fake device that is designed to look enticing or real, and basically a target, and it's a way for you to see who is attacking, how they are attacking different networks, right? So you can see they believe the machine is real, so you get to see what they would do to the machine if it was a real machine. Within the first 24 hours of this honeypot being set up, it had, across different forms that it tracks of attacks or attempted logins, it was hit about 40,000 times in a 24-hour period on a residential network, right?
It's pretty crazy, because it's you don't even think about how I don't know. Like it sounds really dumb, but I'm sure I'm more advanced than the average person when understanding like networking. It's still crazy it's so easy to forget that like things connected to the internet are available worldwide for someone to hack into. Like,
Yeah, well, the guy knows the address.
I know, but you say that and like I know that, but I don't really know that. Like that doesn't really resonate with me.
Well, in the funny
and it's
part,
like, okay, so can your Moto Compacto be hacked?
no, it's not internet connected.
But it's connected to an app that's not internet connected.
Well, it could if someone compromised the app on my phone and then I connected my phone to the device.
But you have though, haven't you? You've connected the app to the device, right? That's how it was collecting your miles?
Yeah, I think it probably had some Bluetooth. I mean, yeah, in theory. It also depends on what the software looks like on both ends. But yeah, in theory, anything that isn't air-gapped, meaning has no actual communication between devices, could, in theory, be hacked, right? It'd be a much more complicated attack surface, and it'd be much less...
It's a pretty low risk, I would say, for...
Not so much that it's low risk, it's that there's not a real high reward for it to be done. Right? What's the benefit of hacking my Moto Compacto?
I don't know.
Right? So...
Having them all. I guess you can't really control it in like a real sense. It's just basically shutting it down or messing with the software.
Sure, but what's the benefit to them? Someone would spend a lot of time, which is why ransomware is so popular right now. Right? Because their whole goal is to get in the system, lock out all the files, and go, you want your files?
Oh, that's why you call
Give
it
me a whole bunch of money.
I never put it together. That's why it's called
Holy
ransomware.
moly. Yeah.
It gets
'Cause you're
held
holding-
ransom.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Right there in the
It
name.
all comes together now. Well, you just learned what smishing was, so...
No, because it's dumb. Because it's all
Because
phishing.
you haven't taken enough corporate... No, if
This whole conversation happened on... Again, I don't want to drag us down the tech side, but...
We're educating. This is creating an awareness of electric vehicles that may be connected to the internet, and you need to know about the risks in case your case
Sure,
is
but we're
hacked.
talking about smishing now, and this is not... We're going to go off the
True.
rails, but I'm going to wrap
kind of
this
had
up.
to like pee on a fence post here because I was just really excited. I knew something you didn't.
So, in the InfoSec Mastodon, this conversation came up, or maybe it was Twitter, one of the two. And it was basically like, can we just stop coming up with new acronyms for the same thing or new variations? Like, it's all phishing. It doesn't matter how it occurs. It doesn't matter if it happens by a postcard, a phone call, carrier pigeon. It's all phishing.
If you make it too easy, then corporate policies won't have any training to make me do.
Sure. But so if we're going to call SMS phishing, smishing, and phone call phishing, vishing, why would email phishing be called phishing?
E is silent.
Oh, yeah. If anything, it should be phishing would be the phone call.
It's like going to Sheetz and ordering a schmegel.
Yeah. I don't know. That's dumb.
Schmisket. Would you like a schmishket?
Yeah. But not the conversation I expected to have tonight. But
we're allowed to derail.
It's good.
It's a natural segue.
We'll see how far it gets. But something everyone should be aware of.
Is it e-ink on these Beelines?
We're back to Beelines now?
Oh, where'd we go?
To cybersecurity mandates in the EU.
Oh, I still have this Beeline thing pulled up, and it looks like Kindle.
It might be e-ink. I don't remember. But it's like a one-color display. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks sharp. All right, carry on.
CF Moto is launching the 450 MT in the U.S. market. It's going to be called the Ibex 450, or IBEX.
And there's a pretty pink and blue version.
Yeah, I really hope that blue is less blue and more teal, because I would rock the shit out of that thing. Actually,
it's a really pretty blue, though.
That is
like
the first time
cyan.
I did not catch myself. That is the first kind of questionable language we've had on the podcast in 18 episodes.
You dropped the S word?
Yeah.
That's all right. Kids see worse on TV.
Yeah.
One word ain't good.
But, yeah, really sweet color scheme.
Very pretty.
They also have like I think it was blackish, gray, and green color scheme. MSRP $64.99.
Not too bad.
No, I think they are going to knock it out of the park.
The person.
With this.
So is this a dual sport or off? Oh, it says off-road tuned. So
it's going to be an adventure bike.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about those. So mainly road, but
Also off-road
gravel.
available. Yep. I think it has, I don't have this pulled up, spitballing here. I believe it was 8 or 9 inches of suspension travel, front and rear. I
don't know, but the person riding it has
horsepower.
dirt bike gear on.
Yeah, as you'll normally see with people
I guess
advertising adventure bikes, because it's not
they're
easy, but it's easy to make a bike go on a road. So they always want to make it look really cool off-road, even though they realize you're only going to ride it to the grocery store.
Yeah, they're definitely somewhere that probably doesn't even have public land.
Yeah.
That one kind of looks
8
like
inches
Albuquerque.
of wheel travel. Cross-spoke tubeless wheels, which is pretty sweet, especially at that price point.
Tubeless wheels?
21-inch front, 18-inch rear.
So they're like foam packed?
No, tubeless meaning there's no inner tube in them.
Oh.
The wheel just mounts to the rim
So it
and then
can
is
still
inflated.
go flat, though.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You can patch them or plug them.
Is that what the goo is for?
What?
Can you use the goo on them?
Slime?
Slime.
You could slime them. You could slime an inner tube too, but like the problem with an inner tube is like when you deflate the tires to get more contact patch, it's easy to pinch an inner tube, and then the tire won't hold air until the inner tube is removed, patched, and re-put in. Whereas a tubeless tire, you can just put a plug in without unmounting the tire. So there's a lot of benefit for serviceability to the tubeless. 31.5 to 32.3 inch seat height, depending on the setting. So it sounds like going to be mostly manually adjustable ride height. Ground clearance 8.7 inches, 4.6 gallon fuel tank. It's nothing but winning from my point of view.
The color is Zephyr Blue. And do you know what a zephyr is? Because I thought I knew what it meant.
A breeze.
Yeah, a gentle wind. How pleasant is that?
It's one of my favorite words.
Really?
How do you not know this?
Well, I know you don't like the color blue. So.
I've ranted about zephyrs a bunch of times.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard you use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
Well. Okay, well, now we know.
Yeah. And good news. It's going to have a 5-inch curved TFT screen with over-the-air update functionality, which means hopefully...
Internet connected.
Yeah, hopefully they built in some security. But here's the bummer part. Where they're manufactured, if you go down that rabbit hole of you now have a over-the-air updated device.
China, probably?
Yep.
China got us.
So...
They got us.
However... Like I said, the bike just seems like a slam dunk as long as the build quality is decent, which most of their bikes have seen it. Most of their bikes seem decent as of late.
Do you know if this is coming to the U.S.?
Yes.
Oh, wait, has been confirmed for the U.S.?
Yes, it is going to launch as a 2025 model year. It will be released. Right now they're saying fall of 24.
I wonder where you could see one.
Probably at a CF Moto dealer. You could also see it at the AIMExpo last week. Or 2 weeks-ish.
Where is the closest? Is that the...
Do you remember that cheap bike I was trying to drag you up to Cleveland to buy? It's like a $4,000 adventure bike. It was a $650.
You know, you really try to drag me around a lot of places to buy a lot of bikes. They all kind of blur together. But I do remember a Cleveland reference.
Yeah, Sheets or something like that.
Oh, yeah. It's up by like...
Yeah, they're a
Sandusky
CF Moto dealer.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep. They're around. I think Iron Pony might be one. I don't remember.
This one's flagged. I don't know.
So,
right.
That's exciting. We're not going to talk too much about this one. It's going to be in show notes. I highly suggest it as a read. Adventure Rider posted an article. This is a couple, 3 weeks old at this point. Back on January 27th, Neil Graham over at Adventure Rider posted an article called Motorcycle Show Meltdown.
So I actually read this.
Phenomenal story.
Very well written.
As someone who has worked trade shows, I have been not far off of this.
Yeah, he talks about the pain in your feet and the twitch in your back, which is totally true. Because I've gone to trade shows for work in a completely different industry than yours, and there's no matter where you go, it's carpet on concrete.
You're lucky if there's carpet on the concrete.
And you're just stand there.
Yes.
Like a fish in
talking,
a bowl.
to just the
with the fake
absolute
smile,
best subsection
answering-
of society most of the time.
answering
And I
the
say
same
that
questions over and over again.
dripping in sarcasm.
Well, your industry is to homeowners. Like, that's who you market to. I'm in the medical space, so usually I'm the idiot in the room. You know, I can't speak. Most of the people I end up talking to, I remember I was complimented a girl on her boots and we became friends at the last one. Like, but I'm sure she was some, like, hospital director. Like, I could empty her trash can type of deal. So very different experience, but it doesn't matter.
Your trade shows are a little different.
Yeah, like I'm there with hospitals and stuff. But like still, it doesn't matter. Every pair of shoes you wear, they hurt.
Yes.
Like it's absolutely insane how it But yeah, this guy's experience
You've got to be just a glutton for punishment to enjoy trade shows, which I do. I enjoy trade shows. I really
enjoy the first hour.
I enjoy all of it because it's like the hunt.
The last one I was at, I flew out and back the same day. Do you remember that? I went to Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah. And the first hour.
What a wild ride.
Yeah. I mean, it's only like, I think a little over an hour flight. We spent a lot of time in an airport. So I went out, I think I had like 3 or 4 hours at the trade show. And like I said, even then was like, I think this was a little too much. Like the first hour or two until you're thirsty and you have to pay like $5 for a bottle of water. You're kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think this article may have resonated with us a little harder than some people.
Sure, but it's a good read.
It's funny.
I'm going to give you the gist to whet your appetite a bit.
But reading it is an experience in itself.
Yes.
So even if you know like
need to go
the
read it.
storyline, very visual the way he wrote it. He's a very good descriptor.
Yes, very wonderful writing. But so you need to go read the story. The gist of it is his interaction with a gentleman who swears that you do not need to lean a motorcycle to turn it. It is more involved than that, but that's enough to get you started. You should go read it. It's a wild ride.
It's a debate.
Yeah.
He gets people involved.
Yeah, good time. Harley has, since our last one, we knew they were going to, they've released new 2024 models. They've revised the look of the Street Glide and the Road Glide, as well as released some CVO models. Most of the peanut gallery of the internet has complained that they look too much like Indians, which is basically what people say anytime Harley makes changes to look like not Harleys of last year. Which I will say, the new Road Glide fairing does look a little bit like an Indian Challenger. They're borrowing from not far from home.
You know, Harley's been pretty quiet lately, but it also helps that we don't podcast, so everyone's quiet.
Yeah. Thanks. Just twist the knife. Twist the knife.
It's not a bad thing. It's
just
an
It's a horrible thing. I said weekly.
See,
I will get back to weekly.
Set up unrealistic expectations.
Not unrealistic. Just got to be more regimented about this.
Okay.
So, new Street Glide, new Road Glide, CVO models are interesting. The price points of these things, though, just kill me. Absolutely kill me. So, let me get them pulled up here. Have you looked at these bikes yet?
I have not. I didn't make it that far down.
So the 2024 Street Glide and Road Glide are going to start at $25,999. So $26,000 for a motorcycle.
Ouch.
Yeah. Those are the cheap versions.
So is this like a midlife crisis alternative, or?
I just wish I understood exactly who is buying these bikes and what I'm doing wrong in my life to not afford these bikes.
Yeah, I wonder what the demographic is. Is it really 30? I mean, honestly, if we didn't have student loan debt and maybe a few other things, it's not really that unrealistic.
No. Hold on. You haven't heard the price of the CVO yet.
Okay, well, I didn't know we were talking about that. I thought we were talking about this one.
This is one of them. So what I'm saying, though, is where did I screw up in life to not be able to afford this CVO?
Okay.
So the CVO Road Glide ST starts at $42,999.
I don't know that just because you can't afford it means you did anything wrong in life. It
no,
just means...
but what are people doing to be in a position where, like, this is a sound financial decision?
I wonder what the repo rate on them are.
That's a good question.
It just sucks. Like, it's one thing if it's like, okay, $500 a month, let's say, which is pretty low. Let's say $600 a month. People pay that for other vehicles.
What do you think the interest rate's going for these right now?
But the thing is that kills me is like thinking about the 4 or 5 months you don't ride it. Like, I'm all about investing in hobbies and things that make you happy. You know, like if you can afford it, go for it.
I mean, but
obviously you need like a migration
only,
plan.
Sure, but the riding it's only a Ohio thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you pay all the tax. You have, we'll be generous.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you $5,000 worth of trade-in.
Or cash. Either way, yeah.
Well, and say you got another $1,000 to throw at it, down payment. And we're going to say, I can't even imagine what interest rates are. Maybe they're doing buy downs. We'll go 2%.
2% interest rate?
Yep.
Why? Our cars were like 4 or 5 at the low
This
end.
is a new. This is not
so
a
they
used.
get better.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Harley's going to do some buy down incentive because they got to do something to help people buy these darn bikes, which is why they do like 96-month loans and no one else does. But we're going to say an 84-month loan.
Which is how many years? 7?
Yes.
Ooh, fast math.
Let's see here.
Are you refinancing our house while you're doing that?
That is... Oh, I couldn't rip the sales tax out of it.
Well, it still has
Yeah,
to be
about a
paid.
$500 a month payment. A little over.
It's more than my car.
Yep.
But hey.
Well, and
I
that's
mean,
2 years longer.
than my car?
Yeah. And assuming you have $6,000 between down payment and trade-in.
And I guess the people buying these bikes probably would have $6,000. The people
Yeah,
who
I mean,
don't
I
have
guess.
$6,000, maybe you shouldn't commit to a $500 a month payment.
It's just, I don't know.
To each his own. If you
Yep.
don't have a house and a family and other thing, like, it's probably not that big of a deal.
It's still a $44,000
But people are buying them or they
motorcycle.
wouldn't have them.
I know, which is the mind-blowing part to
So
me.
buy one in a couple years.
But if you
buy
want a
repo.
CVO and you want it and you can't quite cut the $44,000 price point, don't worry. They've got you covered.
Yeah.
They have the new CVO Harley Davidson Pan America. And it comes in. Oh, where did the price run away?
I hope all these saddlebags come with it.
It does.
Oh, there we go.
It does.
I'll save you $200.
Where did we go here? I believe it was 28 something. I'm almost back to it. 28,399. Practically a steal.
Steal.
Compared to 44,000? Yeah, it's like 25% off.
Oh my.
Practically closing these bad boys out. I don't know. They just intrigue me at the price point they're at.
But like I said, people are getting...
They're selling them, otherwise they wouldn't make them.
I wonder if they sell them.
But
Do they sell
it's-
Harleys out of the U.S.? They do,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yep.
I wonder if they sell these.
Yep.
When people outside of the U.S. are buying things that cost them. I feel like the American...
Less of them. I mean, if you remember, whenever I talked about the change in leadership at Harley, one of the changes is that they're not focused on selling as many motorcycles. They want to make more profit per bike and sell less bikes.
Good business plan. Sucks for the humans. Sucks
Is
for
it
the
a good
people.
business plan, though?
You're not going to
get...
quality over quantity of sales. I mean, if you're making the same amount of profit, why not do less work?
Well, yes, to some extent, but that's not sustaining because you're not getting as many eyeballs on your product if you have less product out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You have
definitely
less
comes with
riders.
its own risks.
Yeah. So it just seems weird. But the last thing here with Harley, they did report their Q4 2023 results. They achieved, if this means anything to you on the financial end, they achieved a 13.3% operating margin at Harley Davidson Motorcycle Company. Unit profit, Harley Davidson Motor Company unit profitability returned to historically healthy levels. Motorcycle shipments globally were down about 7% year over year. They did 179,984 units. Operating income finished down about 26%. They did launch the Del Mar under Livewire, first bike on the new S2 platform. That was the whole year numbers. Fourth quarter alone, they shipped just under 30,000 bikes. That was down 13% year over year. Operating income for Harley-Davidson Financial Services declined about 10%. Livewire sold 514 motorcycles in the fourth quarter. I'd imagine the bulk of those being Del Mars that had been pre-ordered for a while. So the interesting parts, they gave their full year 2024 expectations.
Okay. Are they optimistic?
Well, they expect the motor company portion revenue to be flat to down 9%.
Wow.
With an operating income margin of 12.6 to 13.6%. The financial services arm, they expect operating income flat to up 5%. They expect Livewire to have unit sales of 1,000 to 1,500 bikes and an operating loss of $115 to $125 million.
Can you imagine predicting your company to lose money?
It happens all the time, which is crazy. The goal is to continuously lose less money until you actually start making money, right? And then they Harley-Davidson Inc. capital investments ranging from 225 to 250 million. Yeah, I mean, if you don't ever start making money, you go out of business. But that's the startup life.
Harley's not a startup.
No, it's a good write-off for them, though.
Sheesh. I'm reading the comments on this Harley article you went over. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, who's buying these things?
On the CVO one?
I don't know.
The one talking about the new models?
Review, yeah.
Okay, so not the financials.
Everyone of all ages, even the people who are like, yeah, I could totally buy this, but why would I? Like, I've got the money, but it's still dumb. Although this one guy said that he could buy 2 Harleys with the cost of a Goldwing.
It depends on which Harleys you're buying at.
Yeah, he's obviously not reading the article because...
In what Harley are you buying 2 of? I mean, I guess they don't have a single new bike under $10,000. I know we touched on this before. Let's see here. I think their cheapest bike right now is about $13,000 or $14,000.
This guy is also upset they charge $50 for a t-shirt, which, not wrong. He's not wrong. They're mass-produced.
Well, but it also depends on the dealership and which shirt and all that fun stuff. Or if you're not buying it from the dealership and you're buying the Harley-Davidson version, they're going to charge you as much as they want because they own the logo. Base MSRP for Goldwing, or the Goldwing right now is $24,700. The Goldwing Tour, their higher end version, base MSRP is $28,700. Now to Harley-Davidson. Let's go. New motorcycles. We're going to say a touring bike because we want something that competes with the Goldwing. Let's look at a Road Glide because it also has a mounted fairing.
Do we need to go upstairs and shake our dogs?
No, I don't think they're picking up as much as you think they are.
Oh my god. Maybe they hear us down here. Maybe we're the problem.
I mean... Possibly. But you're comparably, you're going to be about the same money for a Goldwing to a comparable Harley. So arguably the most comparable from the design of the bike is a Road Glide. You're about $26,000 to a Honda Goldwing at $24,700. So you're within $1,000-ish of each other. Differences from there are going to be technology package stuff, and arguably some of it is just a matter of preference, and power levels are going to be different because engine designs are different. But we're not there's no world where you're buying a Goldwing and you're buying 2 Harleys that are similar to a Goldwing. You can go buy 2 Sportsters,
also known as buy used.
Yeah,
that's all I'm hearing.
Yep. Okay. So that's news. We'll close out a little bit of sticker discussion. Sales have been good. We've been rolling orders out. We got a phenomenal review.
It's true. It's on our Instagram.
Yeah. Can you pull that up real quick?
It wasn't very long.
I know, but I think it's worth sharing with everyone. Moto Compacto stickers are stocked deep if you want some.
We do have a hefty supply.
Got to work on some new designs for this summer.
Apparently, if you have ideas or things that inspire you, you can let me know. I think we have some that we need to order, so there's probably a backlog somewhere.
There is. Just need to get to
always open to ideas. Yeah. And this review, very short, simple, 5 words, which shouldn't be. I think Moto Compacto is 1 word.
Yeah.
But it says, this Moto Compacto sticker slaps.
And it does slap.
It does.
And you can slap it on all kinds of stuff. Toolboxes, Moto Compactos, water bottles, your bumper, your window.
But mammals, we do not suggest.
Don't stick to fur or hair, ideally.
Or small children.
Yeah.
Medium-aged children is fine. After the age of 10, they're fair game.
She says that jokingly and with no actual legal or financial impact to us.
That is not actual.
She does not actually recommend that.
No, but they can fight back.
Yeah. But yeah, so go check out stickers. If you have ideas you want to see get made, let us know. Hit us up on Instagram.
And if we choose your idea, we'll send you a few free ones.
Yeah. Podcast at motohop.co if you want to send an email. And I think that's it. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we, or at least I, will see you next week. But I think that's an episode.
Bye.
See ya.